Why am I not motivated? I just want to be happy again. Have you ever felt like that? I mean, like you're going through your life and everything seems okay, and then all of a sudden you have no motivation at all. You're bored out of your mind. You're even worried and you're judging yourself. Well, stick around because that's what I'm going to get into to help you get your mojo back so you can feel happy again. Hey Fearless Tribe, I'm Sharon Lee of fearlesspursuits.com, and you are watching another episode of Fearless Empower Tube, the place to be to create a better version of you so you can stop living in mediocrity. So more than likely, there are two groups of people who might be watching this. We might have the person who's been told that they're lazy. This is probably not for you, because that's a whole separate issue. But the second type of person is somebody who's maybe been doing well, and then all of a sudden they're not. And they're kind of really upset about their life and wondering why they are so bored and why they don't have the motivation. And it's creating all kinds of emotions inside of them which create that judgment. Well, this video is going to really talk to you about that. You might have lost your spark and you want to really get your mojo back. You realize that when you're feeling unmotivated, like, you're just going through your life and everything is fine, and then all of a sudden it's not, you realize that you're just not happy, and that's what you want. You want to feel motivated. You want to feel happy. You want to feel excited, right? And there's so many things that go into this. A lot of this has to do with us living in the physical world and constantly in the doing, right? And less into the inner parts of us to really get to know what it is that we need in order to live our lives in a happy way. But I'm going to tell you here exactly how you can do that, what's really going on here, and what you can do to change it. First of all, we realize that if we were doing well at one point in our life and everything seemed fine, we were excited, we seemed to have a zeal for life, right? A zest for life. We get out of bed and we're sort of excited to go do whatever it is that we're needing to do. Oftentimes this is like starting a new job. You got that dream job, or you started a new business and you're super excited about it, right? And then, that sort of newness wears off. This happens a lot with relationships too. We realize that we're super excited about this new person in our life. We got them. And then after a time, it gets kind of boring. And then you're realizing that you don't have the kind of life that you want. You don't feel happy. You don't feel excited like you once did. Often it's really because of a circumstance. Number one, something happened to change it, right? So this is something where it's a thought or it is a circumstance. Your thought might be, I'm not doing as well as I want to be doing. The circumstance could be maybe you lost your job. Maybe you didn't get that promotion. Maybe your partner, it doesn't seem to be as affectionate as they used to. And you're thinking in your head that you've done something wrong. And now you don't really have that motivation to return that love. You see, it can really factor into so many different aspects of our life. And we don't really feel like we're as happy as we were. We don't have the motivation to really invest ourselves like we once did. Maybe you need a win. Maybe you've been plugging away at your job or even in your new business and nothing seems to really shift for you. These are circumstances that really implement a thought in our mind that create that feeling, that emotion of boredom or even worry, and sometimes even anger. We can feel all of these emotions, and then we don't have that motivation to move forward with continuing that journey. This really reminds me of when I sold my skin spa. I had a certain amount of money to really live off of. I was newly separated. I was going through my divorce, and I was feeling so scared. I had so much self-doubt about everything. I was starting my business, and really I was in control of taking care of my 3 kids, and the money was running out. And I really didn't know what to do. I mean, there I was all excited about it. I was like scared but excited at the same time. I sold my business. I'm using the money from my business for all of the expenses for our living. I turned into a digital nomad. We were traveling all over, and it was exciting, but it was nerve-wracking and scary at the same time. But I ran out of money. That was a circumstance that took me on a tailwind. I was just spiraling out of control. I didn't quite know what to do. It seemed like everything I did in my new business was just not working. I was basically a general life coach, and I wasn't making any money at all. No matter what I did, I wasn't doing well. And I felt really bad. And I started to go clean toilets. I didn't tell my kids. I would get dressed in my gym clothes and feeling absolutely humiliated. I mean, I felt like I had just really dropped down to a new time low. I'm putting an ad in Craigslist, and my kids don't know anything about it. At the time, I had an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old and my 5-year-old. And there we are, living in a brand new state, didn't know anybody, and I'm starting a brand new business. We're running out of money, and I didn't know what else to do. I mean, I could have gone to work for McDonald's or something like that, but I realized that I was embarrassed. And I didn't want anyone to see me. And I knew that I would have to get dressed up to go to McDonald's or whatever it was to work on that job. So I decided to put an ad in the paper for cleaning people's houses. And I would put my gym clothes on, get in the car, tell my kids goodbye. I'm going to the gym for a couple of hours. And I was cleaning toilets. It was a big fat lie. And I was just too humiliated because I wasn't succeeding in my business. And I just felt like I didn't want to do anything. It was hard to get out of bed. I was judging myself constantly. I mean, what was I going to do? How was I going to take care of my kids? So it was my motivation, that in and of itself, taking care of the kids, that got me to take drastic action to go and clean toilets. And this is because I had a deeper purpose. I had a gun against my head, and I had to make money to take care of my kids. This is at the very core of what it is that takes to actually become motivated. In other words, you have to have a deeper purpose for you to go and do something. Was I going to quit my brand new business, my life coaching business? It was so hard getting it started, but I didn't want to quit, but yet I wasn't really achieving anything. So I felt really bad. When you have a lack of purpose, it's really difficult for you to actually be able to do anything. You feel like you're not good enough. You have all of that self-doubt. You have all of that judgment. You're embarrassed. You don't want to tell anybody that maybe you were laid off, or maybe you're not doing well, or maybe you didn't get that raise. You don't talk to your family anymore. So now you're disconnected, and it's just really embarrassing. You have no one to talk to, and you're not happy. Not having that purpose, that lack of purpose, is really at the core of it. But there's even something deeper that you need to know, which I'm going to touch on, that's actually going to help you to get out of it. And this is what I discovered. Oftentimes, when you don't feel like you want to do something, let's say that you set up a goal to maybe lose weight or to go to the gym a couple of days a week, 4 or 5 days a week, right? There's this part of us inside that says, I don't want to do it. You know, it just is too hard. I just don't feel like it. This is basically a depression that you're having, and it's because of what's not happening inside of your life. The task that you think that you need to do, like going and working out, doesn't excite you. Your life doesn't excite you. Your relationships don't excite you. Having to do school or whatever it is, it doesn't excite you. And so there's the problem. You don't want to do it. So of course you're not going to do it. You don't have to. There's a deeper reason that you need to find to help you so that you have to. Because we realize that no one is going to do anything unless there's a gun against their head. Here's the thing. If someone committed a home invasion in your home and put a gun against your girlfriend's head and told you to go make some money, you would do it. That would be your deeper purpose. You see, we realize that if we don't have to do something, like we set a goal and we don't have a have to reason to do it, like it's a good idea kind of thing, we won't do it. You see, there's no positive energy around it, or there's no energy around it that makes you move. So in my story, when I actually had to go and clean other people's houses, I had to do it. It wasn't like a positive energy like, oh, I'm so excited to go clean toilets. It wasn't that kind of positive energy. The positive energy was there. It was the payback that I was going to have, literally a paycheck that was going to help me so that I would stop worrying. It was going to motivate me to keep doing it. It was going to motivate me to reinvest that money into my business for advertising or whatever it was that I needed to do, or keep going, because I realized that I wanted more for my life. There's no way that I was going to just keep cleaning houses for a living. I realized that I needed to do more for my family, for myself. You see, when we don't have a deeper purpose, a deeper reason to do something, because we don't want to, this is where procrastination comes from. We often will just stay the same. Our circumstances stay the same. Our relationships stay the same. We stay the same. When you're saying to yourself or your friends or a family member, my life is so boring, it has a lot to do with us being boring, because we're not doing anything. Our life is the same. It's like Groundhog Day, right? This is something where we wake up every single day and we do the exact same thing and we don't get any reward for it. This is what the circumstance is. We have a circumstance, whether it's we're not getting the win that we want, or something bad happened, and then we're having that thought around it, and we create those emotions of self-doubt or not enoughness, and then we have that tailwind, that spiral of us not being happy and actually going into depression in some cases, like what happened to me. So what we tend to do, like with business, so I'll use my example. So what I tend to do is, like, I would sit there and think, oh my gosh, nothing is working. I'm putting in all of these hours into marketing, for example, and nothing is working. And so then, of course, Gary Vaynerchuk, thanks Gary, you're always saying, to really grind and to really hustle. And there's this masculine energy that's behind this, which doesn't work too well for women. It does for men. But that's obvious, right? We have a man who really seems to embrace that hustle, right? And the grind, where women are more into the feminine. But regardless, even for a man, when he is hustling and he is grinding so much, there's so much stress that's built up. And this is what happened. I was moving into my masculine energy because I had to make money. Remember, I'm newly single. I'm taking care of my family, my 3 kids by myself, and I had to make money. So there was a lot at stake for me, but I was moving into working harder. And I was burned out. I was pushing and pushing. And it seemed like no matter what I did, I had that energy of scarcity. I had the energy of hustle. And it wasn't fun. And the bottom line was that I ended up not doing well at all. And that's why I had to go and clean toilets to make ends meet. So I said before that you needed a deeper purpose, but I also told you there is something even deeper than finding your purpose, than really contributing beyond yourself. The answer is progress. You need to change your circumstances. You need to change your life. There is no way that you'll be able to reach any goal unless it's about growth. Growth and progress, and actually seeing yourself change is what will motivate you to keep going. We realize that if we have the deeper purpose, that's part of it, but we also realize that we must absolutely feel that progress. If you're in school, for example, if you're constantly seeing that you're not really progressing in your education, then you're feeling like there's no reason to keep going, or you keep going for raises at work and you're not really getting those raises. You're feeling like there's no purpose to really contribute to the company. Or if you are self-employed, like as in my case, you just keep plugging away and you're not getting any clients and you feel like giving up. This is what happens to a lot of people. So what we realize here, if we really want to get our motivation back so that we can feel happy again, we have to find progress. We have to have that win. We've got to really be able to look and see what is working. So we have to really replace our thoughts that it's not working, I'm not getting anywhere with this, with the gratitude for what is working. So if you have just finished a certain part of your education, take some time to celebrate what you actually did. Look at how far you've gone and really celebrate that. Look at that progress. Look at the growth you've had. This will excite you to see the very end. We have to see that there is an end there. If you are wanting to be motivated so that you can really achieve more at work or in your business or you as a person or even in a relationship, we cannot allow ourselves or our situation to get stale or boring. We must absolutely find that motivation by looking at how we can grow. And this is where you'll absolutely see the biggest transformation for you in finding your motivation and bringing that motivation back in your life so that you can feel happy again. Now, I mentioned before that the lack of motivation, the lack of purpose really made me feel doubtful and like I wasn't enough. If you've ever felt that way before, I've got a video for you. I'm going to put it above and below in the comments so that you can watch that to really help you move out of that not enoughness. Thanks so much for watching. This is Sharon Lee. I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.